Well, welcome everybody. We're back for some more fantastic action, and happy Easter weekend, of course, to everybody around the world. And it's iGPFun time here at Motegi, here in the Mobility Resort there. I am Dean Biggles, and Ewan is tied up in some other broadcasting commitments in another town at the moment, so he's actually producing or something at the moment there. But I'm joined by Jim, across the pond into the United States of America from the big state of Texas. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Good to be here. A surprise visit to get to spend some time with you. Although you and I, we're going to get to do some later, so we get two today. That's good.
Yes, we will. We'll go back to back. Of course, we'll go to the ovals, of course, in the United States of America. At the moment, we're over here in Europe. Not really Europe, it's Japan, my apologies. It's too easily across there. But we are in our qualifying session at the moment. We do apologise for just sort of setting things up. iRacing have changed it, so it's been a bit difficult for you and I to get into the session. We can't just go in and spectate anymore. I've actually had to spot from a driver on the list in order to get into this. So this is something that iRacing have changed. And of course, iRacing, being lovely iRacing, don't bother to inform producers like ourselves and say, oh, by the way, we're just making some changes just to let you all know, because you broadcast 3 a day. Of course, they don't do that.
Right.
And anyway, that's the situation. We do have a look at the standings before we go over to see how this qualifying session is going to finally pan itself out. And in the championship standings at the moment there, Jim Antonio Jimenez is leading there on 170 points there from Luca Verratti. 141 as you go to Robert Ridgway down at 130. Look how close this is as you go from third down. Of course, you're talking about just a couple of points separating you. Robert Ridgway 138, Maxi on 137 there. You got Dennis on 136. You go down to Tusky there at 133, 130. Simon Fessi 124, tied there with Luca Rancon. And you got Luis Bertilla 121 there to Jonathan Cazotto on 107. Adam, Scotty, Andy, all 97, 99 points there. Eddie Amos there in 15th place there on 97 points. Further down, we've got the top 20 there with the points there as you drop all the way down a little bit further there. So getting close to about halving those points there for some of those drivers. But opportunity will make its way here. We're on round 5.
Yeah, so one of the interesting quirks of the way you and I had to join is the image that I'm getting for the broadcast is very pixelized. So but I'm also in their session, so I can see what's going on. But just to let you know, I can't read anything on the screen at all. So if I'm charged with reading, I'm in trouble.
A little bit of
that could be a good way to could be a good way to cover up a bad education. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. It might be.
Antonio Jimenez just sets the fastest lap at a 140 at the moment, 37 thousandths of a second there from Jacob Olaski for the Modern Racing. We have about 36 drivers in the session. It's always a stacked grid for this league, my friend. We got a Raymax, I think, out there chat caught at some. I'm so 4 months away from racing is not helping. And it has an oval.
Oh yeah, Motegi does have an oval. That's right. That's what he's talking about. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it does. I've actually never raced there, but it does have an oval. Yes. In fact, interesting fact that I just happened to know, one of those useless pieces of information that I like to share. The only race that Danica Patrick ever won in IndyCar, or also, of course, in NASCAR, she only won one race ever, and it was at the Oval here at Motegi.
Oh, really?
Yep, that was her only win, was with the Oval here at Motegi. She was ahead behind by about a lap, and Helio Castroneves had to go into fuel saving mode, and she was able to run him down and pass him to win the race.
Wow. Well, there you go. He learned something. Look at this stacked qualifying at the moment. You have a 1 second gap, 26 places down. So this is going to be
insane.
A action-packed grid. Exactly. That's essentially 2/3 of the field there are separated by 1 second with The Spaniard on top at the moment, so interesting as well too. It's also on top of the championship standings. This is the final lap the drivers are going to be doing for their qualifying session at the moment, so if you're on a flying lap with enough time to get it done, you will be able to perhaps get a little bit further up in the field that you are, but I'm only seeing about 4 or 5 cars on track at the moment.
I've never seen a qualifying session so stacked in my life. Sometimes in oval they'll be all pretty close, but this is ridiculous for a road course. I've never seen times this close. It's amazing.
Well, welcome to the Super Formula Lights, my friend, here for the iGPFun League, because it is always generally been a very, very tight grid.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. Holy cow.
Last couple of drivers to make their flying laps around here at the moment. I won't throw you on, as I usually do with Ewan, to give us a hot lap guide around here, Jim, because you're probably not familiar with this track.
I am not. To be honest, I had to purchase it just to get into the iRacing session.
Oh, you didn't even have it as well, too.
No, but I've got a race coming up in like 2 weeks that I was going to have to get it anyway, so it's going to give me a great chance to learn the track tonight.
Yeah, I'm still not ever been happy about iRacing for having to make spectators purchase the track for broadcasting, but it is what it is. Race room, don't do that. Qualifying is done and dusted. Here's our starting grid for this evening. Tony Jimenez on the top there, alongside there with the pole driver of Jacob, that'll be lining up second, and on the third row there, second row, Andy Flint there with Dennis. That could very much menace those drivers. I'm going to go there, isn't it? Yeah, here is Amel there and Ian. I'm going to butcher these names, so I do apologise. Ewan's perfect for them, so we have to go with that one. Yes, Stefan. And Maxi will be lining up 7th and 8th position there. Brad and Robert will be 9th and 10th there. I'm going to go with first names on this one here. Racon at least there, and Clark Williams, 11th and 12th. Further down in the field here, because we've got a bit of a stack grid. We'll have to get through these pretty quickly there, Jim. I don't know if you can read them out.
Where are you at? I was looking up a fact.
Robert Ridgway, 13th place.
Yeah, let's see. I think I can handle that from here. So we got Alex DeClerc in 14th, Kirish Patel in 15th, Luca Venari in 16th, Mehmet, I'm not even going to attempt that last name, in 17th.
Yeah.
Scott Taylor, Kaju, 19th, Richard Van Veen in 20th, Eddie Amos and Benjamin Eddie Amos and Benjamin Batari. Next row, Leonard Cherry, Kevin Byland. Oh my God!
Rebillard.
Yes.
We'll go with John McKenzie.
John McKenzie.
Yep.
Patrick Williams. Dorian Arrow. Arrow. Adam. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so much fun for a Texan. Adam Tausima, Oscar. I'm with you on the first names. Paul, Matthew, Marquez, Mike.
Go.
Yep, let's do it. Sorry about those last couple of guys. We'll get you here shortly.
Going to be the sweeping turn 1, turn 2, all the way around. Driver's going to take it easy here. No overtaking opportunities just yet. It's usually the rule of thumb on this one, but good launch there from the Spaniard there. So no switcheroos. Just further back there, you might have a couple of them, but usually the rule of thumb is you won't do any overtaking until you get at least 2/3 of the way through the track. And now we're starting to see some opportunities building up into the second sector.
So that's interesting. So,
there we go.
Even with no overtaking, it looks like we've got an incident.
Yeah, it looks like Robert has come together there with Brad.
Yep. Brad Fulger.
There's missing a complete rear wing there on the livery of the old Benetton livery. You're going to notice a lot of Formula 1-esque liveries here as I've just got to snooze my Windows update. Decided to pop up right now, thank you.
Yeah, that's actually cool though. I like that. I'm all for good Formula 1 liveries.
Going to run down into the tight, long straight away, and then you got this sweeping. It's a sweeping couple of series of S's here. Sweep it out to the left, and then you yank it to the right, and then you get ready to complete a lap here of Motegi. And so far, him as in the lead there. But this big challenge at the moment for your man of the neck of the woods there, Andy Flint, under attack there from Den. Up on the inside.
Yeah, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
No, I was just. It's good to see. They don't have too many Americans in this field, but there are a few. Oh, we got another car off here
Richard.
somewhere.
Yep, the modern racing prince there has had a little bit of a boo-boo to go off the track there. We'll go back and look at a replay in a little bit, but there's a big gaggle of cars occurring here currently at the moment for a huge battle. Look at the kitty litter kicked up all over the track there. This is the battle all the way, essentially, from P3. We saw that overtake there of Andy Flint on Dennis on Andy, and then you got Yunus Amal there and Ewan, the Turkish racing driver up the road there. I'm going to see some opportunities in up the inside. Does not elect to do it just yet. Slow and steady wins the race sometimes. It's early days, lap 2 of 30. Of course, we have 28 laps to go on this one, and you want to see that checkered flag at the end of the day. A couple of drivers already in some... Oh! And speak of that one, this isn't a dangerous place. Drivers going to have to go wide. It's got collected, try to pull the cars back there, just try to get off the racing line.
It's literally dragging.
They're caught. I have not seen that in iRacing before ever. Look at this!
No, they took out
another... Go straight in!
My goodness!
That is huge!
We've got a guy on his roof!
Can't even get the cameras that I've towed back there. This is going to cause a massive pile-up at the back here.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, another car on his lid.
Everywhere.
That's Tasky. Ayan, I think, was on his lid there. This is a caution flag being flown there, but Tony Jimenez is probably wondering what just happened behind him. He's got a bit of pressure there from Jacob for the battle for P1 and P2. We'll definitely have to go back and look at quite a few replays on that one. And I tell you what, that would be a iRacing top 10 highlight.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure, because I've never seen that before. There are some strange things that have been happening since some updates when these tyres get caught on each other and cars go absolutely flipping up into the air. But I've never seen a car dragging another one down the main straight, as we're seeing a big battle for P8 and P9 on your pictures. Well, Jim,
that was absolutely
welcome
the crazy.
To Super Formula Lights, my friend. You're not going to see that in oval racing.
So crazy. I can't wait to see the replays on that. That was nuts.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who was it particularly that was involved who was in that battle there, but I'm just trying to see if it was around here. There's quite a few moments here. Have a look at. There it is. So there's connection. Bang.
Yeah.
Forces them in. There's a big pile up here. I'm just trying to see further back who it was.
So it was that yellow car that ended up getting dragged. The one that's backwards right there.
Yep. Just trying to see who that is. And I think, yeah. Look at this.
That is nuts.
Who is it?
That's the craziest highlight I've ever seen on iRacing.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that one a few times more. Look at this. And then comes back in after the car's released, completely flips Teskey on his lid. And that's going to be a scary moment for the rest of the cars that are coming around the field. And look at that, they are light.
That green car got involved, innocent, you know. That's the thing. This took out several innocent cars. I mean...
Yeah. That one definitely should be submitted to iRacing, at least for the developers to look at that as well, too, because that
yeah.
is physics is not very realistic, of course. And, well, the more that this is submitted to them for the replays and stuff like that to have a geezer at, then they will be able to perhaps address it. I'm sure this would be the first time you've seen some crazy stuff happening on Super Formula Lights, but that's probably the craziest I've seen in a long time. As we're seeing
my first question about that crash was the driver just kept his foot in it and dragged the other car all the way down the straightaway, which was, kind of weird. You hear hold your brakes all the time, but it was. But then I'm thankful that he didn't hit his brakes or lift, because that made for an incredibly exciting replay or highlight. Wow. Okay.
It could have ended up releasing the car too on the main straightaway and then just flipping it off and crashing into everybody else. You just don't know. It's just a weird scenario.
I wouldn't have. I certainly wouldn't encourage that holding your accelerator like that. That was very strange. But man, I'll tell you what, this battle up front here is. There's a lot of really tight battles on this track. But first and second place up here they're less than a quarter of a second apart. They're nose to tail. Yeah,
they've got a 2-second gap down to Dennis, who's in that P3 after getting that overtake there, and Andy. So that's the switcheroo. Robert Ridgway, fantastic for the Ridgway Racing setups. He's in P5 at the moment, a little bit further down the field there, but making 8 positions gain there with Alex as well too. Luca Varani in the championship hunt right up the top there as well. He's in 9 positions gain in P7. That's just because of that battle that we saw before too, that took out at least as a handful of drivers. Eunice, Amel there. We've got Brad Taskey, you saw up on the lid. You got Stefan and Richard Van Ven. And unfortunately, the only Australian in the field there of Robert Tilbury is retired from this session, which is one of the first lap incidents.
Yeah, he is the only Australian in the field, huh?
Overtaking opportunities. Scott Taylor and Benjamin. This is a battle for 13th and 14th on your pitches. And Eddie Amos is too far down the road there as well too for the Tron-esque livery. You'll get used to that one as well too. That you can't miss Eddie Amos's car there, Jim.
Yeah, that Tron livery is I think it's kind of Tron-esque actually, but I've seen several of those type liveries, and Sharpie had a sponsorship package that they did that kind of looked like that, where like all the edges were colored and they were promoting Sharpies with it. So that could even be one of those Sharpie liveries.
Could be another opportunity for Jacob. He's been following, Tony's been leading this race, all 6 laps currently at the moment there. Jacob Olowski's been putting some pressure on him, but one thing to catch, another thing to overtake. Seen a few overtakes.
They certainly are running together. I don't know if I haven't really seen him try to stick his nose too hard in there to make a pass. It seems like right now they're just content running nose to tail and separating themselves from the rest of the group a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing how it pans out a little bit later on the tyres, trying to put that pressure. You see the different racing line in, cuts the chicane a little bit better there. Tony's going a little bit off the racing line to go defensive, but then coming into the braking point here, shifts down a little bit, follow each other. See the loose end as you get the power down now. That's the Super Formula lights for you right there. Both go off a little bit of the kitty little.
He's stepping it out for sure. That rear end on Jimenez's car is definitely he's driving it right on the edge.
You see the other two, so you've got the battle between Andy Flint and Dennis still behind there. That's for 3rd and 4th, and then Robert Ridgway is a little bit further down the field from that one. 5.7 seconds to be, and he's keeping Alex for the Frenchman at bay there for the battle for P5 and P6 as well too. So here we go. These drivers now are a good 50 odd seconds down the road there from Clark Williams, still in the lead lap, running in 32nd.
Yeah, it looked like they were. It looked like I guess it's Jacob. Just spelled interestingly. Man, Jacob's front brakes are glowing like crazy. Yeah. I mean, usually don't notice that too much in the daylight. You know, he must be really hitting those brakes, because you look at the difference in the two cars. Tony's car, his front brakes aren't lit up hardly at all, and Jacob's are just absolutely glowing red.
Making a run. Well, just trying to throw him off for the switcheroo. Couldn't get the job done.
Man, that was a fantastic pass by Jacob right there.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Forces Tony into a position of where do you go defensive? All right, so Tony went defensive on that one, and then the switcheroo, but runs out wide at the moment there from Jacob, so the predator becomes the prey. And this one now, and that fantastic battle that's going to continue to resume between these two drivers, no doubt. Further back in the field there, this squabble here, still for P13, still on the cards there of Eddie Amos trying to hunt down Scott Taylor, who's on the back there of Benjamin up the road. That's the two closest.
Yeah, they are.
At the moment.
That's a nice little 3-car. Well, it's really kind of a 4-car battle there. That's a nice little get together right there with those guys. Yeah, as James would say, they're having a right little ding dong back there,
or a rat tat 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 tat, as James would say as well too.
That's on his passes. That's when it's a lot closer.
Yes, exactly. But I tell you what, Tony might be coming back on this one. Could we have a switcheroo 1-2 between these two drivers at the moment? Not teammates, of course, but certainly mortal frenemies, perhaps, there in the championship hunt as well too. And speaking of that, I'll show you really quickly. Of course, we are here at the moment of Motegi, so we're getting close to halfway through this season. We've got Hockenheim next there, and we go down under to Phillip Island there, and then back over to Germany for the Nuremberg, and over to Firenze for Mediacor, Silverstone, Bathurst. Yes, I can't wait for that one there. I'm sure everybody can't wait for that one. Spa, and then Formula Giving event on June the 15th.
They're doing 2 events over there in your neck of the woods. I love Phillip Island, man. It's not the greatest track for passing, but it sure is pretty. And I like it. I like the flow of it myself. Speaking
of passing, Eddie Amos just gets the job done at the moment there on Rebellid, but is Rebellid going to fight back there? We've seen that. I've taken opportunities for switching a Roo. Yeah, that's you don't want to run into old Skip do when you're in Bathurst, isn't it? Jumping around there. Not too many skips down there in Phillip Island, but certainly over there in Bathurst you see a couple of skips. That's aka kangaroo.
I've never run an open wheel car at Bathurst. Now that I'm thinking about it,
it's fun. It's fun. I've seen all sorts around there. Absolutely, it could be absolutely chaos as well too up the mountain. You tend to see that one because it's tight and twisty in there. There's really no space. If the car goes sideways in that one, perhaps we see cars being dragged down in Bathurst. You didn't think about that one here in Motegi, did you? But we did see that one, and we'll get. If you are tuning in, thank you very much for tuning in and supporting this fantastic league, and like and subscribe there. We'll get back at a replay of that one in a minute. If Jacob's going to hold back a little bit on this one, was Tony going to fight his way through? They give us a breather there for a lap. We'll go back and have a look at that first lap.
That was so much. I hate to, for anybody involved in it, I definitely don't mean any disrespect, but that was absolutely entertaining. I mean, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by that, but it was great.
I've seen, a few things lately here. You'll see it if you go back and look at some of the races earlier in the season. There's been a couple of definitely seen cars up in the lid a few times, that's for sure. Flying around there, doing multiple spins and somersaults and all sorts of jazz. That occurs further back, and we'll have a look at the replay again on this one, and just trying to see if we get another better angle of this carnage that happens. It's up the road actually from here. But
so it was Stefan that ended up getting drugged, right?
Dragged and drugged.
Yes. Did I say drugged? Yeah. I did say drugged. Oh well.
So he goes around, and look, how's this? Come with me.
I mean, there's really no reason for them to be stuck together too, because their tires, like they were.
Look.
Yeah, he's just. I don't know. Oh. They're not even he's not even pulling him with his tire or anything. They're just. That's the greatest thing ever, right there. That's just awesome. Oh my goodness. I really do feel for Robert was the one I think that went on his roof. I feel really bad for anybody else that got caught up in that because that was clearly some kind of netcode thing or something.
Yeah, it's sitting there just saying,
look at this view.
What do I do? What do I just do here? He's like,
hey, look, he's got his wheel cranked over. Look, he had his wheel cranked over, man. He was trying to get loose.
Please give us a thumbs up if you do enjoy seeing that one. Something that Stefan did. Well, I mean, Stefan's probably got a big smile on his face going, all right, look, I'm involved in Iraq, but I'll tell you what, that's probably one of the best ones I've ever been involved in.
Right.
And
if you're ever, if you're going to be involved in one, at least that was hilarious. So I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name, but we've got someone in chat who feels like Tony is going to win this race.
He very much could. I mean, he's put it on pole there running that P2. So it'll be the battle between Jacob and Tony for now anyway, because Dennis is a little bit further down the road, but with pit stops. He's the man that's got the, you might have heard it outside the broadcasting booth, every single time Koji goes past the grandstands, you got a big cheer from his home audience here in Japan, in Happon.
They're loyal to those Japanese drivers, man. They went crazy for Yuki when he got moved into up to the Red Bull seat.
Yes, sir.
For Japan, they went nuts for him.
Well, they're going crazy for Koshio now, as he's battling at the moment there with Benjamin, who just got slipped past him before. Still 6 positions gained for the Japanese driver. It's his home track, so he's got a little bit of the fan boost. Hopefully going his way. Solid drive right now.
Yeah, having a great run.
Bit of a gap forming between the front runners. There is Jacob. There's Tony. You know, obviously we've got John's out. Johnny's out there. There's a Tony.
They've kind of separated a little bit, Jacob and Tony up there. They're just a little bit of a gap between them now.
Yeah, maybe just conserving the tyres a little bit.
Maybe.
So you know, it's going to pan out for the pit stop strategies coming up a little bit later on, no doubt, when they do elect to scoot on down to pit road in their 30-lap race.
So do they, of course, pardon my ignorance to anybody who's watching, I literally jumped in here with like 10 minutes notice. Do they have limited fuel to force them to pit? Is that the is that the way they do this here? Or?
Yes. Well, it's not so bad, but they do have to head down a mandatory pit stop. So when you can take them pretty late if you want. One of the drivers do elect to do that. That's something more that Ewan is also handling as well too. He's the bit of the mastermind, and yeah, well, we appreciate you stepping in, of course, there, Jim. Ewan said he got his commitments got tied up too much, where he couldn't make it here in time. So Jim had offered to step in. Thank you very much. So yeah, you got to bear with us, gentlemen. Jim's been thrown literally into the deep end of the pool.
I'll tell you what. After seeing that wreck on the first or second lap there, I made it worthwhile for the whole race. That was fantastic.
Maybe we'll gears up ready for the triple bypass racing coming up later on too, which is also broadcasted on the JP Broadcasting Network, so you can tune in and watch that one as well. If you're
still got a little Easter Sunday action, by the way. Happy Easter to everyone who celebrates it.
Absolutely. Even if you don't, there's usually holidays around the world.
Yes, whatever the other holidays may be.
It's Easter Monday, I would say now in Australia.
Oh, yeah, that's well for you. That's right. It's already Monday.
Yeah, as well as it was for Robert. Robert will be happy. No, well, I don't want to say spoiler alert, but he should be pretty happy with Oscar's performance. Put it that way at Saudi Arabia. But when I tell the results to anybody, I'll just say Oscar had a good performance.
He did have a decent race, didn't he?
Yes, sir. So Robert, if you hadn't had a chance to watch that one, Robert Tilbury, who was unfortunately one of the first retirements of this race, could probably sit there and watch the race recap now. He hasn't seen it yet. Good squabble back here at the moment there from Dorian.
Yes.
And the Canadian driver of Adam just up the road there. The battle for 20th and 21st currently in your pictures. And Ajan at the moment for the Turkish. You remember this man at the moment was involved in an earlier instance, down 13 places. He's fighting his way back just at the fastest lap of 41, flat. Trying to get his way back up through the field there. So that's what you like to do. Keep fighting. First lap shenanigans generally always happen somewhere along the line of a racing season. So you've just
that's a really nice lap right there.
Yes.
To be How many laps are we in here right now? I can't read it on the screen, unfortunately.
13. Somebody's off into the kitty litter out there. I think probably just completely getting out of the way there if it was Christian.
Yes, 3. To be 13 laps in and put the... Oh, yeah, somebody's off the back of the track back there.
It's Christian, yeah. He was about to be lapped, so he's just completely got off the track into the kitty litter to not get in anybody's way at this point. Three-way fight back here. Here we go. Hold on tight. Get your popcorn ready there, Jim. Adam just lifted there. He realized it's going to be his nose chopped off like a Kim Kardashian surgeon, James would say.
Okay, that was a good one. I have to give it to you. Yeah, this is a nice little battle right here. Nice little 3-car battle. It looks like that Dorian... no, where are we at? Oh, it's so hard for me to read. Adam is thought better of sticking his nose in there earlier, but it's back now. So you're riding with... this is Patel here. Karish, I guess you would say?
Yeah.
Karish Patel?
Karish in the Venta Black livery on that on the 31 car there, as you can see. Yep, turn off the lights there and see and absorb 99.9% of the photons. But as you can see, Chris is just watching this huge battle there for 9th and 10th here, the final top 10 positions between them. They're going tooth and nail. Chris should just sit back there and enjoy this show, bird's eye, as you can see. I think it was, I'm quite sure if it was Ranku or Cherry that went a little bit wide there, but they got a big wheel to wheel. Bit of door banging, if they had doors on these open wheel super formulas. Whoa, who sticks it through there? I completely missed that one. Was that Benjamin?
No, that was it? Yeah, I guess it was Benjamin.
I think it is Benjamin, exactly. So while we're riding on board there, Benjamin just says 2-for-1 special. It takes Cherry and Krish. Black flag? Oh, because I'm spotting somebody. Somebody's going to be showing a black flag. I actually don't know who I'm spotting, actually. I've just never seen that before that comes up on my race control messages.
I wonder if the person... what would happen if the person you were spotting for left the session?
I know. Don't make me think of that right now. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope I can still remain in the session. I do apologise once again. iRacing have changed something recently. We couldn't get hold of the admins in time to see if we can get that fixed, because they are racing, and one of them right here is Luca Varani. Is on the back there.
Luca is one of the admins of the league?
That is correct, yes. So Luca was no doubt out on track when we needed to jump into the session there and had an issue doing it. So once again, I'm spotting a driver.
Luca's having a pretty good run himself.
Yes, sir.
Up 9 spots into 7th. That's and then actually there's all 3 of them right there together are up 8 or 9 spots each. That's pretty good.
Absolutely. Triple toes, good points there for Luca, who needs them in the championship hunt as well. Toes is right up top of the timing scoring sheets as well for that one. That battle still is brewing back there for P10. Oh, Luca up the inside! Not quite there. Alex covered it off. Said, all right, bring your A game there, son. A Swiss to the Swiss driver. The 222 machine. As those cars are starting to get a little bit more loosey-goosey as those tyres start falling off, and just seeing there is a huge battle. I think we've got a blinking...
Funny that you mentioned that, though, about the tires. Andy Flint, running currently in 4th place, just put down the fastest lap of the race on this last... on the lap before this one, the one that just finished. He did a 140.97, so he broke into the 40s this deep in the race.
This could be the run down Luca needed.
Oh, is he gonna...
Gotta make it stick. Oh. And that's job done there for Luca now up in a P6, 10 positions gained there. But you know, Alex is going to be fighting this one back too for now. He's going to come down into turn 1. Overtaking opportunities, just passing some lap traffic at the moment. He's going to stick his nose out. No, he likes to follow through. sweeping 2 right-hand corners consecutively down a little bit of a straightaway here. And then you've got a sharp left-hand turn coming up at the moment. So 14 to go, Jim, on this one. So just over halfway through this race. Oh, that's going to be a late send. And he makes it stick. Alex back in front of Luca. The battle for P6 still brewing.
Be interesting now to see if anybody's going to try a undercut or something like that to mix up the pit strategy a little bit, try to gain an advantage or something. If you're back there running, say 6th to 15th or something like that, at this point you probably should try something a little different than everybody else is going to do. So somebody's going to be the first to pit here, and I would imagine we'll probably see our first ones pretty soon. Yeah,
absolutely. You got the track map will show you it's pretty spread out at the moment. Getting spread out, so depending on where you're going to slot back in there, and got to get some overtaking opportunities. So if you get some nice clean air, of course, you can just put down bank of laps there and do the old Schumacher back in the day there and get a lot of overtakes done during pit stops.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned Schumacher. I was watching a documentary about some of the stuff he did earlier today.
Look at this battle at the moment brewing for that P15th, 16th spot.
Yeah, and you got the local favorite in there as well with Kaju just getting... Actually, he just lost a spot there.
Yeah, big, huge.
What a battle this is. Holy
you got
cow.
Your other driver there, Max, who for the Ridgeway Racing setups number 07 from your neck of the woods there.
Yes, Max Invictus.
He's certainly high up in the championship standings as well, too, inside that top 10. So he's got to see this battle between teammates uproaring in front of him. Unity Racing. So it's the duel of the Frenchmen, really. And we've seen this a few times this season. There's literally no team orders between those two drivers, mate. They just go for it tooth and nail.
Yeah, I was actually looking to see roughly where Max was from to see what server he was on. So it says he's on the Georgia server, which means he is from the south here, not horribly far from where I am, maybe 8 or 10 hours, something like that.
From the deep south, the great state of Georgia, of course, where you're going to find your Talladega?
Talladega's Alabama.
Alabama?
But it's
right. Is it?
Right next door, though. It's it's like less than 30 minutes
Atlanta,
to Georgia
hot
from
Atlanta,
Talladega.
Of course. Yeah, hot Atlanta. Get there, and Georgia. Yep.
Road America is in Georgia.
Yeah, some good racetracks there for sure, my friend.
I tell you what, that little neck of the United States right there has got several good tracks. You got Talladega, you got Road America, you got Atlanta, you got Barber.
We have somebody going slow. That's Benjamin.
Is it? What?
Yep. So I maybe those French drivers have come together. We'll go back and have a look at the replay of that one because this is all burning up there. Back behind right there, Krish, Scott Taylor, Leonard, and Max. All fighting it out tooth and nail. That's a switcheroo at the moment there because it... Yeah, I think Benjamin got into him here. This is Ben.
Yeah, there was a couple of little bumps there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had to spin. His teammates going into him. That's what's putting him around in the queue.
And then I believe that either Patel got into somebody or somebody got into him. There was another bump that came after that that may have gotten Patel's nose a little better.
Battle up the front is about second now between Jimenez and Alowski. So Alowski's starting to chip away a little bit per lap there, building a gap there to Tony. But Tony's still on the hot seat to very much to win this race there. Dennis isn't too far down the road there, so he's keeping him. He's been actually chipping into that.
Yeah, he's closed about a second off of that actually.
Yeah. Setting up the inside there is Krish on Scott Taylor.
Oh,
and that
nice.
If it makes a stick out of the corner there, job done. Krish. Patel.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Patel there. And that paint job, he has got that paint job muted out.
Yeah, it's a Vanta
That's
black.
like a special ops paint job or something.
They had that on the BMW. This Vanta paint, which is it's a fabric actually, and it absorbs 99.9% of the light. Looks like you're looking into a black hole. And BMW did it for a promotion on one of their cars, and obviously Krish has it on that one. But,
on one of their race cars they did it?
No, just a road car or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, road car, okay.
Because it'd be extremely hot as well too, absorbing all the and
yeah,
incredibly unsafe as well too. Driving at night with that, no one will be able to see because you got no reflections or anything, of course, because it just absorbs all the light. Here's Bajan Albadan Ayan. It's a Turkish racing driver at the moment there. Remember after that early incident that you saw on that replay, he's fighting his way back up to the field there. We've seen that. Certainly got the pace because he set one of those fastest laps earlier doing a 140, a 141. It's the
jump move here on Koji.
On Koji, yeah. So the Japanese will not be happy fans about that one, but I think Koji realises that he may feel that the Turkish driver has a little bit more pace here this evening and allows him to continue up through the field.
Yeah, I think there's a lost art in that so many people feel like they've got a race for every single position. If a guy's clearly got pace on you, you're better off to let him go because the longer you fight, the more chance you're going to bring somebody else into your battle,
Ooh, as Luca just made a massive mistake coming out of the corner, snapped it and scrubbed off a lot of speed. Now, he is lucky that he's got a 12-second gap over your man Maxi in the US, but that just means all that fighting that Luca's been doing on the back there of Alex is going to have to just do it all over again. Slowly chip a little bit per lap, get back onto the tailpipe of the number 26 and do it all over again, just like that, isn't it? It's a bit gut-wrenching when you're a driver and that happens because, you're putting a lot of effort into it and you just make a tiny little mistake and you're like, I got to do it all over again. But luckily he's got 9 laps and all you got to do is keep Alex staring in his mirrors as well too to force him into a mistake.
I have to say I've been waiting this entire broadcast for you to start throwing the Australian nicknames on everybody, and you finally did it there with Max, as you called him, Maxi.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while since you and I've done a race.
Super Max,
so funny
Max.
You do everybody. Used to do everybody like that, Maxi, and of course these names are hard. There's not a lot of them that you could do that to here. I'm sure tonight on our other broadcast you'll be the nicknames will be flying for everybody.
Oh, absolutely, because I remember a lot of those drivers as well too. But we'll get some nicknames, of course. I had some of them through the field there. Scott Taylor, put some pressure there on Chris.
That's Scotty, yeah.
Scotty. Patrick Williams had a little bit of a moment earlier. Patrick's running in P17 all by himself.
You lock him up?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he caught that curb on the inside a little bit, I think.
Yep. So the lead, Jacob has 1.2 now. Another 0.2 gained in the last couple of laps over Tony Jimenez. So once he got past Tony regained that place back again, remember, and then Jacob got past again. Look at that, fastest lap, 40.9. First one on the 40 club here this evening. Setting a statement now with 8 laps to go. Let's bring it to the Spaniard. So the pole driver versus the Spaniard, that's a battle. Dennis is now slowly, well, you can see him down there. He's 1.5. He got down to about 1 second, but now dropped back another half a second. Andy Flint's just behind him in P4 there. Robert Ridgway, little lonely, as you can see. He's got a few drivers. You've got Alex just weaving over there. No doubt what Alex is doing right there is just trying to get rid of all the kitty litter off the tyres, because there's quite a bit of kitty litter that's been kicked up on that track.
We got some craziness going on back a little further in the field there. Yeah, Scott Taylor right there. That's what I was going to say. This little battle right here is they've been back and forth around here with all 4 of these cars. This is a nice little get together here. I was going to say a ding dong like James says.
Ding dong. A little giggle and a bubble and a jiggle and a wobble. It's another commentator right now. He's that one. Whoa! You can see the Swede driver at the moment's got some. He's trying to find way past Scotty, and Chris is trying to find way past Max or Maxi up the road.
Maxi, that's right.
Battle for the for the US as well too, for 9th and 10th up the road. As you can see, running a little bit wide is Scott Maxi. Locks up on the rear left as well too. That's going to give Kevin a bit of a run. Kevin's going to stay on the outside here. Just absolutely keep that foot planted. Backs off a little bit for the braking. Knows that Max is on the outside there. I think Kevin should get the job done. Will get the job done. But it ain't over just yet. So weaving to try to break the slipstream.
Yeah, they're all so far off the racing line over there too. That's so weird. Okay, here they come. Oh.
Contact.
Be careful! Oh, I saw that coming. Kajou, that was Kajou.
Yeah, I just saw that contact into the side pod was going to occur.
Oh no, that was
it? It's Kevin.
Yeah, Byland. Yeah.
Here's a bit replay of it. You can see it just steers into him. There was a bit of space there. That's definitely one for the stewards to look at later, but you can see the writing on the water. Two cars fighting into one corner, aka only one car will remain.
Yeah, that's a byproduct of the fact that they weren't running on that racing line, like I was saying.
Yes.
And then they all tried to come over, and it was just kind of a weird deal there.
Further down, you got Dorian there and Clark Williams. That's a battle further back in 19th and 20th place there. As Clark Williams should get a good run out of the corner here. Now will Clark go on to just off the racing line, but I'll have to brake a little bit earlier there and harder on the stop pedal. Does get the job done there. So there's Clark Williams up in the P at 19.
Clark was one of the ones that was involved in that
yes.
backwards pull down the straightaway incident, I believe.
Yep, because Clark's down 8 now. Was down 9, now down 8.
So you're talking about the American representative. We've been talking about Max. We got Andy Flynn up here in 4th place. And Andy just put down the fastest lap of the race at a 1:49.2.
Yeah, he wants to join that party at the moment, but you can see he's chunk and change down just on a second there away from Dennis. So they're exchanging lap times between some of those drivers, like they're exchanging.
Well, what's fascinating to me is that these tires are still good enough that you can put down that kind of lap this far into the race. That's pretty impressive.
It is actually. It's quite. Not as a racing driver myself, so maybe somebody in the chat can let us know about how the grip levels are still okay or not. I might be wrong about the pit stops in that one too, Jim, because we haven't had anybody in the pit mode. There could be a nice sprint race to the end here now. Might not need that.
If the pit stop strategy is, if there isn't a pit stop in this race, strategically, because we're 40 minutes in now, so it seems like you would have seen one if there was. I broadcast some of these sometimes. I forget, and I certainly didn't have time to read up on. I just barely got logged in time. But that's a good-looking paint scheme right there.
Yeah, that's
kind of a splatter look. I like it.
Now it's brewing for the top 3, so we'll focus our attention over to this one. About 6 laps to go now, because something has happened to Tony, and he's now dropped 2.4 seconds. I'm just having a look at race control message. I don't know if you caught anything. Yeah, Tony's gone off track a little bit here on lap 23.
Oh,
this might explain.
I saw that he was back, but I just figured he was getting.
Yeah, there it is.
Just, oh, yeah.
That cost half a second, just like that, running off the key letter.
Yeah, because the last time I looked, he was just right around 2 seconds back. Now he's 2.5.
Yeah, you can see that coming out in the corner. That's going to put him in the clutches now of Dennis.
That's the beauty of these longer, which an hour race in the real world is, that's pretty standard. But, in the sim racing world, an hour race is a relatively long race. A lot of the officials aren't an hour long. They're like 30 to 45 or whatever's the longer one. You just it's maintaining that focus for an hour. It just takes one little incident. He was lucky. I mean, it didn't kill him. It just dropped him back a half second or so. But you can absolutely get crushed by just losing your focus just the slightest little bit.
And luckily, just whether or not that traffic will come into play, you can see on the track map the number 1 is just going down into turn 1 at the moment there. So you see the 29th place car. That's of Christian Vega. They'll be catching, but not a lot of traffic up the road. That traffic should move out of the way. Shouldn't really upset Jacob Orlowski too much there. Tony Jimenez would be hoping there'd be more traffic there to try to bring him into play. But at the moment, Tony's going to have to really worry more about Dennis here. Is going to be menacing him.
And Andy Flint.
And Andy Flint, he just set another fastest lap as well, too, behind him for the Sakadura racing team.
Holy cow. That's got to be draft aided, I'm sure, though. So.
Yes, it will be. They'll be catching into that draft. You see that when the drivers are trying to break that toe when they're weaving down the main straightaways. So
that's clearly draft aided, but still fastest lap either way. And it has brought him right into the hunt here for a third place, and then ultimately second, not that far right in front of that.
Yeah, I think it's a big battle for P2 at the moment. I think unless Jacob makes a mistake, he should have this one in the bag.
There's still a long way to go for that, but he's right now he's running out there safely 2.5 seconds ahead.
Max makes a mistake and goes wide. That'll allow the Bertilla back through there, and that battle with the Japanese driver a little bit further back. But that's Super Max. Well, Maxi runs a little bit wide there, just snaps it, tries to hold it, and very sharp awareness, wasn't it, from Bertilla?
That was nice. That was good reaction. The French driver did a fantastic job right there.
Here comes Ewan as well too, just another working through. I don't think it's going to be too long before he gets past Scott Taylor, actually, because clearly he's had the pace, just completely out of position with the incident that happened earlier. But certainly he's really made up a lot of spots.
Yeah,
exactly. You would have wondered. He'd fight his way back up through the field. What would have been if this driver had an opportunity to continue to battle up the front there? But there it is, a classic one-on-one overtaking opportunity. I think Scott Taylor put up too much of a fight on that one and allowed the Turkish driver through up in a P10 now.
I tell you, you look at his last lap time for the race was a 1:41.05. So, I mean, that's not that far off of the fastest laps of the race, and he is consistently running those. Obviously, not on that lap there as much because he had an overtake, so he had to get out of line a little bit. But he's hustling back there. He's running a good race to get back into the hunt here.
Every day they're hustling. Exactly.
I missed that too.
Great Bush Racing. It says Lowfield is the reason for those fast laps right now. You're absolutely right. Good call on that one.
Yes, that's true.
All that gasolina, and now it's time to bring it home there with 3 laps to go. Who's going to start making those opportunities? Christian's still going at it with O'Cherry, and that's been that battle that's been brewing her for 8th and 9th for a while. We saw a few other battles, but further back down at the field there. But now it's a matter of whether or not the Spaniard can hold off the Frenchman, because that's what he's had to do. Tiny little mistake, as you saw Tony just drop that time that he was battling it out there with Jacob. Now just has to bring that one home. Once again, I was talking about that traffic, but a little bit too further away there from the 24th position driver. But Ken Tony, who did put it on pole, now has to do damage limitation and think about a second place.
Yeah, he's definitely got Dennis inside the window. He's within less than a half second, so that's in the kind of space where you can make a move, and you're also in that space where he's in the draft pretty hard behind you. At this point, Tony is definitely having to drive out of his mirrors more than he is out in front of himself.
Yeah, that's what Dennis could try to do too. Try to force Tony into another mistake of running wide. And Andy Flint's the one that's a little bit further back. He's going to be sitting there saying, "I want these two to battle. I want them to battle," because that way it's going to bring Andy certainly into play. Because he's just down the road, it's not too far. 8 temps you can see on the timing tower. And exactly, like if you get that to happen, he'll be a happy camper and can possibly get himself a podium here. But he needs these two to get close, needs these two to battle. Or either way, or both of them make a mistake, of course, need to be there to mop up that podium position. Cherry again and Krish going for it too for now. But you have to give it to O'Cherry here for the Scandinavian driver because he is up 14 places. Biggest gainer inside the top 10 right now. And Krish up 7.
He really is.
But we'll get back
that's
to
pretty
this.
impressive. 14 spots. That's nice.
Absolutely. Capitalizing on some of the mistakes that the drivers had earlier. This is getting down to crunch time. It's the last lap of the race right now. Is there anything right now Dennis can do to try to catch the Spaniard up the road there? And there's Jacob further up the field there. He just has to bring it home there. He's got a bit of breathing space of 2 seconds. He doesn't need to so unless he wants to get bragging rights of setting the fastest lap. Just bring it home, my friend. Just tap it home like in Happy Gilmore. Just tap it home. Just drive it home. And then you've got that race win. And what's been a fantastic race, and certainly got some on the highlight reel as well too for that one. That I hope some of the drivers will submit to iRacing to say I've never seen that car being literally towed down the main straightaway.
Yeah, that was very entertaining.
Ernie's even mentioned that there. 19 minutes is a crazy crash. That's what it is. I've even got your beeps out there for you there. Emery, M. I'll just call you M.
Emery. I guess
physics.
that's. Well, yeah, it was clearly like a netcode thing or something, but it was quite hilarious.
And the Super Formulas are the category of cars that have been doing that, as the Formula Lights, Super Formulas as well, so I think have been doing that. So it's Super Formula Lights, and there's the Japanese ones as well. But this man gets it done there. The Polish driver, the number 57, celebrates the victory here for the modern racing Prince GP. He's got the job done. And Motegi is his. Tony will get them with that P2 position, wondering what is, but a podium's a podium. And Dennis menaced his way into up one place to secure that final podium position there, with the two American drivers of Andy Flint and Robert Ridgway wrapping up 4th and 5th there. Alex battling it out for his teammate for some time, will end up settling for that P6 position. Luca Varani will come home there with the 7th place and 9 positions gained there. Krish battling it out there with O'Cherry, so 8th and 9th. In a great squabble there. And you got to say, a recovery drive of the race, of course, there for Ewan in that final 10th place there.
Yeah, that was quite a recovery for sure.
Further back, Scott Taylor there, finishing 11th there. Bertilla there, battling up the teammate, will end up finishing in 12th there. And then the Japanese hero, of course, will finish in 13th with Max, Supermax, Eddie Amos, Kevin, Clark Williams, Patrick Williams, Oscar, Dorian, Adam. We'll go through those results in a minute. We'll just quickly, before we do that, go back and see the highlight reel of that incident, which was...
so apparently Emery Emery was one of the drivers in the race, finished 32nd and ended up getting out of the race early and jumped into chat there apparently and started watching the race back.
Now have a look how to grab a car by its wheels and say, come with me. Come with me. and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. There's so much to see that.
This is so great. The only thing I hate about this is the other cars that got caught up in it. Other than that, it was hilarious. It was entertaining. I just hate it for those couple of guys that got caught up in it down the track. That's the only part that's bad. Other than that, it's good stuff.
There you go.
I mean, literally, they weren't even that close, and it just kind of.
You don't see that every day.
No, I've never seen anything like that. I've seen some net codes that were pretty bad, and after the last update, there was the kind of a rash of net codes that were kind of crazy.
Who was who was the red car that unfortunately got victim of that? I can't quite see.
Yeah, that was
it Turkish driver? Had the Turkish livery on it.
Did it?
The red car.
It may have been.
Was it? Wasn't, but no. I think it was. Oh. Maybe somebody will let us know on that one, but definitely.
Yeah, I wish. Who was Emery? If you're still in there watching, who was the red car that ended up on? Yeah, that is definitely a Turkish livery. Because it appeared to be a Turkish symbol on the side of the car, unless it was like the
race results. After what a crazy race. We went through the top 10 earlier there before you can see on their pictures, but we're going to have a look at how it all pans out for the rest of the field there. A few drivers obviously going a few laps down actually from the P24th place downwards, but you can see the Williams and the Oscar and Dorian there. Adam, John, Matthew, Paul. Further over to the field there, see how it pans out there from, unfortunately, some of the drivers that were involved in some incidents that put them quite a few laps down and some retirements. As you saw in the picture, the 35 drivers. Jim, wow.
Yes.
And if you thought that was crazy, we're off to Hockenheim, which should be a less crazy.
I like Hockenheim. A lot of people are, kind of iffy on it or whatever, but I like it.
And then down under to Phillip Island and back over to Germany for the Nuremberg, which will be a rain possible track. This will be interesting.
So I wonder what Nürburgring track they're running. Are they running they're not running the Nordschleife, huh?
No, I don't believe so. As it would have put Nordschleife there. Over to France, over to UK, Australia, Belgium, and then the Formula Giving event, charity event as well too. Jim, what a race.
Yeah, it was good fun, man. This is a great league. My son, who's 17 now, about to go off to college, he only free time he has to race. Super Formula Lights are his favorite cars, and he loves this time slot fits his schedule. He's been wanting to join this league, and I covered a race for him last season. Always entertaining, incredibly competitive, and that qualifying was insane. How many cars was that?
20.
Like the top 26 were within a second of each other. That's insane.
Absolutely.
Good fun, man. This was a lot of battles up and down everywhere in the field. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you, everybody for tuning in. Of course, more racing, lots of racing coming up, and currently at the moment was occurring at the moment here on the JP Broadcasting Network. And I've been Dean Biggles. Joining me is Mr. Jim Cunningham, and you're going to hear from us later if you tune in to the Triple Bypass Racing League. But for now, this has been the iGPFun, it's been the Super Formulas, it's been Round 5, it's been Japan, and it's been a cracker. GG's to Jacob to taking the race win. Good night.